Real quick before we start, if you're wondering why there's no replay mode footage whatsoever, it's because it was extremely buggy and wouldn't load anything. So, without further ado, hopefully you enjoy the third person perspective. Let's get into it. I built a huge jungle temple with a waterfall in Fortnite Creative. Now, credit where it's due, I went to the hub today and got incredibly inspired. There was this awesome jungle area with just giant temple with all these cool props, and there was a giant sunset and like waterfalls, and I just got so inspired. So credit to LQC for building this awesome hub and inspiring me to build this build. So I first started by placing these awesome looking jungle trees down, as I used them in my last predator build I did a couple months ago. I love these trees, I think it really adds to the jungle vibe, and I got to use something I learned, so it was a win-win. I wanted to have a river in the middle where it'd meet up with the waterfall, so I placed a giant looking stone around for the base of the river. Once I was happy with the base, I started moving on to the waterfall basin where the waterfall would flow into, and the stones on the side. Once I was happy with the waterfall basin and the stone on the sides that I made, I started placing the agency water itself down. After that, I started looking at some trees I could find, as the place was looking very dry and almost like a river on Mars, not very forest-like at all. After I found some trees I liked, I started placing down the waterfall that would lead up to the jungle ruins. Now, I am a fellow moving waterfall strat creator, if you know what I mean. There's several ways to make them, and I have some of my own original ones. So I tried those out, but nothing was working, so I just decided to take one of the agency water pieces in the river itself and use that as the waterfall. After that, I hit my first roadblock in the build. I needed side lengths so the waterfall wouldn't just look like it's standing there, if you know what I mean. So I tried a lot of these things, including the floor piece I was using and the stone I was using for the temple, but I ended up going with a swampy terrain piece from the terrain galleries. Next was the waterfall itself, and I took my time on this, as I wanted the waterfall to look perfect, as it would tie the temple, the forest, and everything together, complementing each other, and it would work cohesively, so it had to look perfect. Once I was happy with the results I got from the waterfall, I started working on the mountains that would lead up, as, you can't just have this big old cliff here with the waterfall, and no cliffs besides it whatsoever. Just a big square cliff would look ridiculous. So I tried flipping over several terrain pieces and experimenting with several different rocky pieces and flipping them over, but I finally decided on this really cool prop that I didn't actually know existed, and I just learned about in this. It's in the Floating Kevin gallery, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And it's this really cool prop that you can just resize and use as mountains. You don't even have to build the mountains out of terrain. That's what I used, that's what I ended up using for the background. Once I did that, things were really starting to tie together. It was really working all cohesively, each element complementing the other. So I did some last minute trees and stuff and just general terrain areas to make the hills go up and down and make it look more like a jungle. Put some roots across the river to make it look more like a jungle, put some plants. And once everything was looking good, I decided it's time to move on to the main point of this build, which was the jungle temple with the sunset in the background. So for the jungle piece that I would be mainly using, I used this brick viney sort of wall from the variant Rock Gallery 2, I think it's called, and just placed it everywhere until I got this nice ancient temple looking vibe. Once I was happy with the result of the main temple, I then moved on and used some props from the Haunted Hills Gallery to give that old overgrown ruins vibe in the jungle. Once I was happy with the temple, I finished up the background terrain, played with the fog, set it to green, set the time to 8 p.m. to give it the sunset vibe, and our build was finally done. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more awesome Fortnite creative content, and have a great day. Bye.